Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 10, Episode 36, overall 531 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles and Cadillac vehicles as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Palme sent you, or you can email the dealership at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969, and I have been a customer of Barry Cullen Chevrolet for the last 25 years. And again, a special shout out to one of their service consultants, Greg Smith, as well. I hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. And I'm looking forward to my guest tonight. This is his fourth appearance on my show. I've also interviewed him at the KeyBank Center, and he's a friend of mine, a friend of the show, and he knows the National Lacrosse League as well as anybody I've interviewed on my show. And his name is Adam Levi. He is a lacrosse and indoor lacrosse contributor. He's also NLL insider and the host of his own Lacrosse Matrix podcast show as well. So we're going to bring on Adam Levi, and we're just going to talk about the Buffalo-Vancouver series and the Halifax-Saskatchewan semifinals coming up this weekend. Good evening, Adam. How are you?
Very busy in the household at the moment, but very happy to join you. And that was such a lovely introduction. It's great to talk to you again. It's been a while since it was the championship game that I last saw you. So good to see your face again. Obviously, we talk on the social media platforms, but to be here today, very excited. So yeah.
I do miss being down at the arena. I absolutely love it, and the Bandits organization right now too. I just had to make a personal decision for now. So fingers crossed, one day I will see you again in person at the KeyBank Center. And I just love the sport of lacrosse, and the Buffalo Bandits organization really gave me an opportunity 3 years ago, and now I follow more of lacrosse than I do the NHL.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, and every time you're there, you're so kind to everybody, and you do such good work, and it goes it gets noticed. So, I know that they'd love to welcome you back when you make that decision. So thank you for everything you've done for Buffalo.
Well, thank you for coming on here as well, Adam, and we'll get into it right now. We're down to the Final Four, which has the Final Four teams that have the four best records. Yes. And you were at that San Diego Buffalo game, which I watched live stream. And what are your thoughts on that Buffalo 5-4 win over San Diego in the lowest scoring NLL playoff game in history?
Yeah, I mean, that was a one that I don't think that we expected from that standpoint. What a defensive battle, a historic battle. So much intensity and good on the refs. I think we're critical sometimes, and maybe overly critical, especially and not to throw the Bandits fans under the bus, but Bandits fans can be very public about their disdain for the referees sometimes. But I think that was what was great about this game was the fact that the refs let them play. And that was noted by John Tavares in the post game, where they were like, okay, we weren't getting those calls in the first half. And so we told our defensive side of the bench, and then we said, let the guys go, let them push those boundaries and see what they can do. And I mean, both teams gave it their absolute all, put up great performances. It was really, really special to witness. So it was a great game, great environment as always, Bandit Land. And I was very, very happy to be there. And I think Buffalo now has a huge test ahead of them in Vancouver which I think could end up being a finals-worthy series. So very excited for that one as well.
I overall thought the officials did a good job in this game, and obviously they had to make some calls in the second half, like the one cross check on Nanacote, and then Dylan Robinson, I guess, at the end of the game, got a 5-minute penalty, and that was they had to call it, even if you're a Bandits fan, that was a good call. So overall, I thought the officials did a really good job letting the teams play and calling the penalties they absolutely had to.
Yes, I think that you just summed that up perfectly. And it's a tough job being a ref, and especially in a playoff matchup when things are so intense and guys are really giving everything they've got. I mean, the effort that I saw from Zach Currier was phenomenal. I've rarely, I don't remember a time, and look, I haven't been around this game as long as some other people, but that singular effort by that man to be all over the place, on the floor, diving, grabbing loose balls, causing turnovers, wherever it was on the floor. I mean, what a heroic performance that was. Chris Origlieri at his age to do what he was doing while Matt Vince was being phenomenal on the other end. I mean, this was just, a dream of a game. And, I've said it a couple times, this week to people, but for us, we're always like, oh, goals, and it's so exciting. We want offense. I mean, this proved that fantastic defense and hard work can be just as exciting as high-powered offense.
You got to give the San Diego Seals credit as well. They in the 3 years I've watched Lacrosse and the Buffalo Bandits, I haven't seen a team do as well a defensive job against the Bandits and their high power offense as well as the San Diego Seals. And obviously it starts with their goaltending, but their defensive game plan was outstanding as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, it was phenomenal. It was really fantastic, and they should hold their heads high for what they were able to do in that game, because to do that to the Buffalo Bandits in Buffalo is extraordinary.
Where do the Seals go from here? Do you still feel the San Diego team, especially with their young goalie, will be back as contenders next year?
So it's interesting. I mean, the thing, let's look at their offense. I mean, they've got some guys that are going to be unrestricted free agents, and they've got some older guys who have been contributing. I think that that's kind of been the MO of San Diego, is they've had a lot of older stars who have performed really well. And does that continue? I mean, what are we going to get if Kyle Rubisch continues? How much are we going to get of him as he continues his career? And the same goes for guys like Rob Hellier and Ben McIntosh. And look, those guys aren't old, but there's a certain point in everyone's career where you start to decline. Obviously, the great ones can extend it a little bit longer, and some of those talents on San Diego definitely qualify to be considered great. But that's always a huge question. And I think that when we needed to see it the most from Chris Origlieri and his development, because his regular season, I don't think was up to the standard that he wanted for himself, coming off a phenomenal year prior. I think that we saw that he is ready to keep taking strides in the right direction. And if you can have a great goaltender, you obviously would love to have Trevor Baptiste be healthy. Missing him at the faceoff X was huge. Some pieces that were moved around. So I think that there's certainly some questions surrounding the Seals, but there's a lot of core players there, I think, that can be key contributors for the long term.
Do you see Ryan Benish coming back as well next year?
Yeah, that's one of those tough ones. For him, a lot of these older guys who have young kids, they love playing in front of their kids. They love having those opportunities, and San Diego provided him with an opportunity where he could do that. And then they extended a lot of their efforts as well to make sure his family could be there, which you'd love out of an organization. But, at some point you have to say to yourself, I need to focus on my family. I need to focus on my other job. They do live literally across the continent in southern Ontario, Canada there. So it is not the most convenient place for him to be. And I think he's proved enough in his career, other than, of course, winning a championship, which is the big thing that has eluded him. Everything else, he's done enough to say, I had a phenomenal career. I did really well. So that's something we're definitely going to be watching as the summer rolls along.
What was the turning point in this game between San Diego and Buffalo, in your opinion? And you were at the game, so I want to get your sense on that.
Yeah, I think so. The turning point for me, and I actually texted people when it happened. It was the goal with 0.1 second at the end of the first half.
Buchanan.
I mean, yeah, that was a dagger. And you literally on the scoreline, it ended up 5-4. Had that goal not gone in, and had things gone the way that they were, it would have been 4-4. The thing about Buffalo is that you don't want to let them get on runs, and you can't let them ever have a big enough lead. And for them, 3 is usually, I would say, 99% of the time that they're going to be up 3, especially at home. I don't have the nugget off the top of my head how often they've surrendered a victory when they've been up 3-0 at home, but I imagine it's very rarely happened. And I think when that moment happened, I was like, okay, I think no matter what San Diego is going to do, Buffalo is going to do enough to hold them off.
And the Bandits actually this year played better on the road than they did at home as well. And San Diego and Buffalo, it's a really good rivalry. Everyone talks about the Bandits and the Rock, or Colorado and the Bandits, but I think San Diego and Buffalo are developing a nice rivalry here. And Adam, who, in your opinion, was the Bandits' unsung hero in this win against the San Diego Seals team? For me, it would be the Swift Army knife in McKay, I think, with his 2 goals.
Yeah. I mean, he was phenomenal. I mean, it was basically the guys that weren't the offensive players. I mean, that goal by Nick Weiss, phenomenal. The effort that we saw from Steve Priolo and Paul Dawson, great. But yeah, Ian McKay was that guy, and he's proven that, like, playing a little bit more up front with that offense and showing what he can do, not just kind of exclusively in that kind of 2-way transition role. It has been huge for this club, and especially when we haven't seen Cloutier or Tehoka be fully healthy towards the end here. I think it's been great to see Ian thrive this entire season, and I think his season was good enough that he's probably going to be on some people's ballots for Transition Player of the Year.
I think the 2 guys who really have stepped up their games this year for the Bandits, and McKay, obviously, and Kyle Buchanan with 34 goals, and he's one of those guys who reminds me of Brandon Shanahan when he played hockey. A talented player, but he'll go after loose balls, and he's Mr. Reliable, and he's really stepped up his game this year, and he's getting better with age, just like Matt Vince.
Yeah. I mean, it's so great to see what he's been doing this year. I again don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I think it was like the most goals he scored in a season in like the last 7 years or something like that. So and then that's again why the Bandits are so talented, because look at what Ian McKay has done. Look at what Kyle Buchanan has done. Yeah, of course, Josh Byrne and Dean Smith and those guys, but when they can get those contributions from those 2 that I just mentioned, those other 2, and then Tehoka, and then some from Chris, and then you got Ian, and okay, well, sometimes a defenseman's gonna score. Like, I mean, it is really like this onslaught that is really special, and it was on full display this past weekend. Excuse me. When they needed other people to step up, that's what happened.
Since I got you on here, Adam, for a few more minutes, what were your thoughts on the other NLL playoff games with Halifax, Saskatchewan, and Vancouver all winning?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's no surprise to see all of them end up winning. I think that, it was one of the standout things, I think, in the Halifax win is that you got a good enough full performance out of Drew Hutcherson in net to really kind of slow down a Calgary offense, which has been, I think, above expectations, at least from the outside looking in. I know that they've said to me and to others all season long that, well, we knew what we had and we knew we could do this. Well, if you look back at preseason predictions and kind of what people have been saying for a long time about Calgary, we didn't expect all of what they've given. So, kudos to Drew for doing that. Halifax looks like a phenomenally strong team. They're one of those teams just like Saskatchewan and Buffalo where they're stacked at every position. And without Warren Hill, the number one, kind of, being there obviously for very unfortunate and tragic circumstances. And I know that, thoughts and prayers to him and his family and the passing of his mother unexpectedly. No one ever wants to hear of things like that. But, for Drew to step up in that moment. And that also goes for, everything that's been happening with Cody Jamison's son. Again, tragic and unexpected. You never know what's going to happen. And for the team to come together in these moments and rally together and play as a team, play with love, play with passion, play for each other. It's really coming out. And that's the best of the NLL right there when those kind of things happen.
Overall assessment of the series between Halifax and Saskatchewan, and you see this being semifinals, and thoughts on Halifax getting the first game as a lower seed and then Saskatchewan getting games 2 and 3, and the series is going to start this Saturday, but then games 2 and 3 won't be until the 10th and the 11th.
Yeah, I mean, I've been reporting a little bit on this. I out of respect to the teams, I've tried to do some more digging on this, and basically the response that I've gotten is no one wants to talk about why this happened or how it happened. There's some confusion that's being spread on social media from fans of why or how this could have happened with Halifax having that first game at home. But I don't think that really. I think it will make a difference. I think with Halifax, and I was actually looking at it today, and this didn't necessarily line up with the team who was hosting, in the first game, but the team that wins the first game in a series the last 10 years, only twice in a 3-game series in the NLL playoffs, has the team that didn't win the first game come back to win the series. So it shows you how valuable that first game of the series is. And the Nest is a special and unique environment out in Halifax where that can give them a huge boost to win game 1. And then asking Saskatchewan, even if they still have, 2 home games as to Halifax's 1, Halifax is so talented and so deep, like to beat them on back-to-back nights, and I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Buffalo. I don't care if you're Saskatchewan. That is very, very hard to do. So, Saskatchewan has got that challenge now. And hopefully the home fans are going to show up in huge numbers for games 2 and 3. Because I think that they're going to need their support from their home crowd, especially after seeing the crowd that I guarantee will be a sold-out crowd at the Scotiabank Center for Halifax.
Who are going to be some X factors for Halifax and Saskatchewan in the series? And who do you see winning this series overall?
Well, so I do think, because of the scheduling, I do think that Halifax wins. I think that the way that they've been playing of late has been phenomenal. Randy Stotts has been a fantastic facilitator. Cody Jamison has kind of stepped up to be more Cody Jamison-esque over the last couple, or the second half of the season. See the performance of Dawson Theed, Ryan Tarafenko. Ryan Tarafenko is one of those guys, again, transition player of the year potential. A lot of people have him in the top 3 for their votes. It does then come down to the situation with Warren Hill and Drew Hutchison. We definitely have to see all of that. and see if Drew can carry this team. But look, if Drew Hutchison is playing game 1 and then even games 2 and or 3, and he helps Halifax pull it out, then we got to be really looking at Drew Hutchison and saying, okay, he's ready to be a number 1 somewhere, whether that's in Halifax or anywhere else. Because I imagine when Warren's ready, I don't think the organization is going to be like, sorry, Warren, this isn't going to work out here. I'm not sure how Warren would feel being a number 2 out in Halifax with the effort that he's put in and what he's shown throughout his career. So that will be interesting. It's been great to see rookie Mike Robinson really step up for Halifax. He has kind of been an X factor on that offense. That's been great. But yeah, a guy like Ryan Terefenko and some of those transition guys, Jake Withers, bringing the ball up the floor, the more that they can put pressure on that Saskatchewan defense, which has been phenomenal this year, really well, and Frank Chiliano as well. Exhausting them and putting them under a lot of pressure is going to be difficult for a full 60 minutes. So 2 run and gun teams, 2 very deep teams, 2 very talented teams, a lot of similarities, some differences. I think it's going to be a very exciting up and down kind of matchup, all 2 or 3 games.
I have Saskatchewan winning this series in 3 games. I think both series are going to go 3 games. But this game 1 between Halifax and Saskatchewan is huge. If Saskatchewan can steal a game in Halifax, they just have to win 1 out of 2 games at home. So this is huge, really adds more pressure to Halifax to win that first game, because you don't want to go back to Saskatchewan down 0-1 facing elimination in games 2 and 3. So this is going to be quite a series. I think it's going to go full 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it very well could. Both series have the potential to do that. You could definitely see each team beating each other, and you could even see it like how they could be close enough games where you could see whether it's Saskatchewan winning 2-0 or Halifax winning 2-0 or Vancouver winning 2-0 or Buffalo winning 2-0. It's going to be really exciting and unpredictable. And, I always bring this up just because it's been a fun running thing that kind of developed out of a tweet of mine about, how the Buffalo Bandits were making the National Lacrosse League unfun in the beginning of the year. And things are fun now for a lot of people because we really have no idea what's going to happen. If you looked at the beginning of the season and where Buffalo was at in the standings and how they were playing, it looked like they were, and I even said this as well, they were looking like one of the most dominant teams in NLL history. That has not stayed true as the season has gone along. And I think that has been to the benefit of all of these games and the unpredictability of the playoffs, which is ultimately, I think, better for the National Lacrosse League.
And finally, Adam, before we let you go, quick thoughts on Vancouver, Buffalo. Who wins this series and who's an X factor for Vancouver and Buffalo in this series?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to look at Christian Del Bianco as the headlining X factor. I mean, he has been the straw that stirs the drink there in Vancouver since he came over with the trade in the middle of the season. But, that veteran defense of Vancouver, Brett Mitski, Matt Beers, Ryan Dilks, those guys are going to be very tough, very physical, very unforgiving to the high-powered, fastball-moving kind of guys. And then also, I'm very curious, and I know that I had reported on this as well, that the Bandits expect Josh Byrne to be back for these playoff games this first weekend. But, one of Josh's major strengths, and it's what makes him so good, is it's his footwork and his ability to find space using kind of quick cuts and things like that. And so, if he isn't 100% with his ability to do that because of his lower body injury.
Love eating gummies.
I know you love eating gummies. I know. Maybe later. Preston is wanting some gummies. He's trying to negotiate, but we need more healthy food first. Yeah, so I think that that's going to be an X factor as well, seeing Josh Byrne, and then gonna be hearing about this later this week. But does Kyle Matisse come back? If Kyle Matisse is back in the lineup for Buffalo, I mean, that changes a lot of things as well. So I think that, from the Buffalo perspective, there's certain questions. For Vancouver, things are steady. And just 1 second, honey. Preston, 2 more.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Chris.
No worries.
Whoa.
No worries.
Oh, it's Bubble Guppies.
And I was going to ask Preston for his picks for the finals.
Yeah.
Who's going to meet in the NLL finals?
If I have it correct, he has Halifax and Buffalo moving on. Don't quote me on that, but I'm 99% sure that that's who he chose. So, the official video will be released soon. So stay tuned for that. But yes, just to put a final thought on your previous question, Kyle Matisse, Josh Byrne, Christian Del Bianco, the veterans on defense, Owen Grant has been one of those guys for Vancouver as well. We saw what Keegan Ball did in the quarterfinals. He's really, he's one of the most humble, underrated superstars in this league. So, I mean, it's going to be that series. Is I think everyone was like, if we could have that as a finals matchup, that would be a dream.
And finally, Adam, will you be attending the Vancouver Buffalo series in person? And where can my audience follow you on social media? And when is your next Lacrosse Matrix podcast episode and guest?
Yeah, it's so in regards to attending in person, I tried to facilitate that and make that work. It was looking hopeful at the beginning of the week. Life has its way of kind of steering things in different directions. And so, unfortunately, I will not be attending any games this weekend. And so that is unfortunate, very sad to be missing out. But especially, to see that Buffalo-Vancouver matchup in Buffalo. Interestingly enough, my wife is in Vancouver now. Not that she's going to go to the Warriors game, but she's there and I am not. So, it's going to be a great series. I wish I could be there. And in terms of where people can find what I do inside Lacrosse, as you mentioned at the top, write articles for them alongside my fantastic colleague, Steven Stamp, who is a tireless, incredibly knowledgeable writer and analyst of this game, great broadcaster as well. Just an unwavering wealth of knowledge. It's so great to be working with him. So, Inside Lacrosse Matrix podcast, because of said circumstances and stuff, that has taken a little bit of a back seat. Just a lot of other things going on right now. So, trying to minimize things that I can have a little bit of flexibility with. But the Lacrosse Matrix podcast will be happening over the summer, where I will be talking to premier lacrosse league players, and many of those guys will also be guys who play in the NLL. So NLL fans will be very interested to be knowing what those guys are doing over the summer, as well as, what's happening in summer ball up in Canada. And then, of course, just follow me on social media. I'd say that's the one thing that I'm really, trying to grow as much as I can. So Adam Levi LAX on Twitter and Adam_Levi_LAX on Instagram. So go follow me there. The nuggets, the information, the breaking news is there. So, that's I think it right now. Oh, and Lacrosse Culture Daily. Goodness me. Lacrosse Culture Daily, my By the Numbers weekly piece that comes out every Thursday. So you can see some very interesting semifinals nuggets for this week when that comes out.
And my NLL final prediction is going to be Buffalo and Saskatchewan. And I think both semifinal games each. And I think you're going to see 1 or 2 overtime games. By the way, Adam, I want to say thank you so much for coming on tonight. And please say hi to Preston for me. And looking forward to Preston's picks coming up on social media at some point.
Do you want to say hi?
Are you able to bring him on?
There. You want to say hi?
Hey, buddy.
Chris says hi.
Hi, Preston. Hey, buddy.
He's watching his show. But Chris, thank you as always. You are such a kind man and a passionate and important person in this space, and I appreciate everything that you do. And always happy to talk with you about lacrosse and about the Bandits. So thank you so much again for having me on. Always happy to be here.
And perhaps maybe I might be able to get you on during the NLL finals, maybe just to talk about the final two teams. And there's a lot more to talk about. But Adam, I'm going to let you go because being a dad is a full-time job. And I want to say thank you for giving us some time tonight. I really appreciate it, Adam. And we'll definitely keep in touch on social media.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you, Adam. All right, guys, that concludes season 10, episode 36, overall 531 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph. And that was National Lacrosse League insider and podcaster Adam Levi. He knows the game of the National Lacrosse League as well as anybody. And we were just talking about both semifinals, which start this weekend, Friday night, 7:30, Vancouver, Buffalo at the KeyBank Center. And then Saturday, May 3rd, I believe at 9 o'clock, Saskatchewan at Halifax. And then those other two games will be on May 10th and 11th if necessary. Again, I have Saskatchewan over Halifax in 3, and I have Buffalo over Vancouver in 3. So I see a Saskatchewan Buffalo NLL finals matchup, but I wouldn't be shocked if Halifax and Vancouver won their series as well. The best 4 teams are left, and it's going to be great lacrosse action, and you can watch it on TSN, ESPN Plus, the National Lacrosse League Plus live stream as well. And also in Buffalo, you can listen to the games on 1520 The Bet in Buffalo with John Gerkler and my guest last night, Steve Burrow, as well. Before we wrap up our show, guys, the next Small Talk podcast, season 3, episode 4, is going to take place tomorrow, Wednesday, April 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern with my special guest, Deborah Eckerling. She's an award-winning author and award-winning podcaster, and she'll be on to talk about her books and her podcast show as well. Unfortunately, my co-host Marlene Sharp won't be joining us as she has a work commitment at the last minute. But the Small Talk podcast will go on tomorrow night, Wednesday, April 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 on the West Coast. Before we wrap up the show, guys, I did some media coverage of TV in Waterloo, Ontario on Saturday night. It is called The Ropes, and it is going to be airing on Bell 5 TV either in September and October. And I interviewed both producers the other day. The producers' names are Denise Bogdan, if I have that right, Denise Bodan and Brian Quantino. And this clip is courtesy of my YouTube channel. This is Chris Palme live on site in Waterloo, and I have a couple of guests here tonight. Her name is Denise, the other one is Brian. And how you guys doing? And tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah,
we're feeling good today. It's a little chilly out here. We had some beautiful weather yesterday, and of course, Canadian weather, it always sneaks up on you, but we're feeling good. We're here in Waterloo, representing Kitchener-Waterloo here. I'm a local. My first time bringing a show here, fully leading it as a producer, so very excited.
Nice. And I'm also producing, working with Denise a lot, but now I'm directing, so I've been working with the actors, the crew. We have such amazing talent here in KW, and it's been wonderful. A great experience.
Can you just tell my audience what you guys are filming and what are some of the challenges of doing a production set in a backyard?
So our show is about a Kitchener-Waterloo family that lives and breathes backyard wrestling. They're part of this dynasty family that just literally is ingrained in the culture here. And the patriarch of the family decides to bet the backyard against his arch nemesis, who also happens to be his brother-in-law, Gigi, the gravestone goose, and he loses the backyard. So the rest of the season is them trying to win it back as a family, because we have 2 beautiful children in this, and pretty much just wrestling. It's all about wrestling and all about the community. And similar to film, you got to do this because you love it.
Brian?
Yeah. And so in regard to the production, we've pulled in different resources and sponsorship, Off the Ropes, their amazing wrestling studio who has provided this beautiful ring along with wrestlers and contacts. So we're building the 2 worlds together, from the acting from Toronto and other GTA area, and some who are local, as well as the wrestlers. So both can learn each about wrestling and each about performance, as well as this production. We got this beautiful house
from Performa Real Estate Group. They were very generous with the houses along the lot here.
Mm-hmm.
And our main sponsor is Forefathers Brewery. So big shout out to them, because they've provided us with all of the cans and the kegs and all of the shirts that our crew is wearing and everything. So it's really great to just have the support of the community and being able to support the community.
And most importantly, the person and the company that made it all, which was Bell 5 TV1. They were the ones to give us the grant and the green light, a local regional community show about a story about that family in KW, Kitchener-Waterloo.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about all the actors and actresses on scene, and how did you guys get off the ropes involved here?
Yeah, so we started with our collaboration with Michael Nathan, who was the writer. He designed and created this world. And then I was helping through Casting Made Easy, work and find local talent, as well as talent from Toronto. And we did the whole self-tape system. And we also looked from Off the Ropes, their wrestlers, and see who their rosters are. And if they want to play different, heel or babyface characters, and see how it would be like to be on screen. Yeah.
What's a daily day like on set, and when is this going to air approximately on Bell, and how many episodes?
So a daily day on set for us can change from 1 minute to the next. I mean, today we had the fire department here because we decided we wanted a little bit of atmosphere, and we had a bit of a fire going, and they just kind of came and said, no, guys, you can't do that. So we had to kind of put a pin in that one. It's, weather, sometimes it's dependent on that. So each day can prove its own challenges. And I'm sorry, what was the other question you had there?
Oh, when is the release?
When is the release? So we're going to be delivering this sometime in September. So you should be seeing it on Bell 5 around October. Our executive producer said he'd like to just have it around that time. Although there's lots of Halloween stuff going on, this is still going to call attention, and people are really going to be called to it and want to watch it and engage with it. Because again, it's ridiculous. It's backyard wrestling. Who doesn't love wrestling?
And just to add to that, the thing that makes this really incredibly ambitious is that we have a ton of cast, we have a ton of BG, we have a ton of wrestlers, we have this massive property that was completely empty, and we had to fill it with our lovely, lovely keys and head of department. So everyone pulled in the resources, and they donated their time, they donated their money, and everyone believes in this project because it's fueled with passion.
Speaking of wrestling, have you guys always been wrestling fans as well as independent wrestling?
Well, I grew up with a lot of boy cousins. I'm the only girl in a generation full of guys. So I was actually the dummy. So I actually got tombstoned by my cousin, sharpshooter, you name it. I remember watching WWE with my cousins, and then just creating our own wrestlers and our own characters. So when this project was brought to me, I got really excited because it just made me feel nostalgic. I was back in the 90s, which is a golden time for the millennial generation. And so I was just fully invested after that. I was like, let's do this, because I just really saw the potential that the show can really have. And again, right, it's all about community. It's all about loving something and having a passion for something.
So yeah, I grew up with my siblings. Shout out to Kevin, Oscar, Jason, and Rachel, who we all kind of grew up with wrestling. And in fact, I have scars to prove it. Right there.
I believe you. Don't worry. I took some bumps and bruises back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Where some of my friends in high school would use the bad news brown
I had
get blaster on me. The back
right.
And thank God it wasn't today, because now they'd be checking me for a concussion.
He had 16 staples right down my I was bleeding hard. But the point is, you still love it. You still do it. And I grew up with the Attitude Era. So my favorites are Edge, Chris Jericho, Triple H, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, all of them. Just when it was really raunchy and no holds bar. So
shout out to Shawn Michaels, because you were my first crush. I love a white boy.
Yeah. So then and I always wanted to, as a young boy, I always saw them and I'm like, wow, only I wish I could just be like, but I never knew what that path was. And full circle now, I'm directing a show about wrestling, so I get to bring that inner kid out and just be playful with everyone and learn wrestling and give a really good show that hopefully delivers on the wrestling aspects. So
What do you guys enjoy the most about doing this production?
I enjoy my crew. My cast and my crew is amazing. I wouldn't be able to do this without them. In all honesty, if I didn't have them, I'd have nothing right now. So that's the part that I enjoy, just watching them have fun, watching them get creative, watching them just like bring this world to life. That's what I love most.
For me, it's that plus like the belief in you, belief in ourselves, because we've been working on this for 1.5 years now. It was challenging, and I will say this now and probably forever. This project maybe and should not exist because it is overtly ambitious, but you know, we found the right people, cast and crew, and it all starts from the initial idea. So when you have a bunch of passionate people, you could come together and build a home.
It's truly a team effort as well. And what are some fun facts about yourselves?
Fun facts about ourselves.
I could start.
You go first. Yeah, you go first.
Fun facts are I'm a union actor from Toronto, so a bit of my background. I've done improv, I've done comedy, drama, so till this day I still act. Another fun fact is I'm looking into starting wrestling. I'm going to try to do some courses and just see if, you know, maybe it's never too late. We have Natasha, who's started her career really late. She plays a librarian on the show, so look out for her. And she's amazing. So when I look at someone like that who just has been wrestling for 4 years, I'm like, maybe I can still do it, you know? Maybe that little boy can still do it. And so I wouldn't mind going to Off the Ropes, trying some moves and see, you know, just for fun and see where it goes. But those are some facts about me. Yeah.
Age is just a number, and that's what I love about doing my show is the storytelling aspect of it, which is what you guys are doing here too.
Fun fact about me, I mean, I'm a big gym rat. I love to be at the gym. That's where you'll find me. I love lifting heavy. You know, I love deadlifting. I love lifting heavy.
How much? How much can you lift?
At my heaviest, I was doing 185 hip thrusts.
Wow.
That's the bar and the weights all together. And I'm 5'1" and 125 pounds. So for a little girl, I'm pretty mighty.
The Rock. I'm gonna call you the Rock.
The Pebble. There you go. And you know what? I am fully self-made as an artist and as a producer. I started making my short films here locally in Kitchener-Waterloo, and I've made it all the way to Toronto onto big union shows. And now I'm here back in my hometown, full circle, producing my first series, fully leading it. And it's just a dream come true, really. Like little Denise is screaming inside saying, "You did it finally." So those are the fun facts about me. This is a childhood dream that's finally here.
Like you said, I started my goal in radio media later in life, just like Natasha did in wrestling. But you know what? It's never too late to start a new career, and age is just a number, and I can tell how passionate you guys are. Where can people find you guys on social media and the names of your companies?
You can follow us at denise.bodan at gmail. Sorry, crap. Denise, reset,
and action.
You guys can follow me at denise.bodan on Instagram, and my company is Fuego Pictures, which is fire in Spanish. So we are a fiery company. We're spicy, and we're going to keep producing great content for you guys.
Any more projects coming out in the future?
I have a few things on the slate right now. I'm going to be starting pre-production meetings in the coming months. So there's definitely more on the way from us. This is definitely not the last time you'll see us.
Brian,
Yep.
Final thoughts?
I'll just do my shout out. It's at This is Quintero. Company's Dead Mariachi Films. And yeah, the final thoughts are just like the community. We are at some point going to do a crowd fund, and we would love to get some engagement from the community because, as you know, shooting a series, especially our first one, there's sometimes a lack of funding, and we want to ensure the best people and best quality for the project delivery. So we would love your support, your donations, just to get it done and really represent Kitchener-Waterloo, which is where you're from.
Yeah, just watch the show. Please support us. Watch the show, share our stuff, and come out and join us. You know, if you're able to come
April
out
30th.
29th and 30th, if this goes up before then,
A
please come
website? Is
out.
there a website?
We don't have a website right now, but we're working on that, and we're working on a social media page, and then we're hoping to get that up. But just look for the Ropes Production.
Or DM us.
Or just send us a direct message. We're pretty responsive, and yeah, we'd love to chat with everybody.
Any chance you'll try the wrestling ring as well?
Oh, they try to get me in there, but you know how I mentioned earlier about the tombstone and the sharpshooter? I got a bad neck from that, so I don't think so.
And as for yourself, do you have a wrestling name and some moves picked out yet?
No, not just yet. I'll keep that a little surprise, but I'm building a character right now.
All right. Well, hey, Brian and Denise, I want to say thank you so much for doing this, and continue success in your career. And thank you for having me out here tonight, even if it is feeling like January weather out here.
I know I'm trying not to shake, but yeah.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you to your viewers.
Thanks, guys. This is CDP out. That clip was courtesy of my YouTube channel, Chris Palmer Live with CDP Sports Talk. Please hit the subscribe and like notification. Those were producers Denise Boden and Brian Quintero, Brian Quintero and Denise Boden, and they're working on a mini series called The Ropes for Bell 5 TV, and they are looking for extras to come out there tomorrow to 153 Park Street in Waterloo, starting at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning on Wednesday, April 30th. They're looking for they're looking for extras to be involved. So if you want to check them out, go to 153 Park Street in Waterloo, and they will be filming day 10 tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. And it was a pleasure interviewing Denise and Brian. And I have some more interviews that I did on set this past Saturday night that I'm going to air in future shows as well. Live with CDP Sports Entertainment Talk Show, again, is brought to you by BarryCullin.com. Right now at Barry Cullin Chevrolet. Check out a 2025 Equinox LT all-wheel midnight edition. Lease from $218 bi-weekly. That's like $109 weekly at 5.5% interest for 48 months with $3,900 down payment on an ultra-low kilometer lease. More details at BarryCullin.com or drop by Barry Cullin Chevrolet dealership at 905 Lower West in the Guelph and tell them Chris Palme sent you. And as we wrap up this show, guys, right now, I am on Cameo. If you like a personalized video message from yours truly, CDP, check out cameo.com/Chris Palme and book your Cameo today. I'm also on another social media site. Yes, I'm on another social media site. I'm on Blue Sky Social, which is sort of like what Twitter X used to be. You can follow me on Blue Sky Social at Live with CDP19 on Blue Sky Social. Right now, guys, at the Cambridge District Humane Society, they're located at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, extension 0. Or you can visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org. Right now, the Cambridge Humane Society has a lot of needs for all the homeless animals down there. They're right now looking for canned dog food, bleach, puppy pads, garbage bags, towels, laundry soap, flat sheets, cash donations, online donations, and if you're able to help out with any of these items, please consider doing it. And every Wednesday they do a pet emergency fund for the people that are struggling financially in Cambridge, Ontario, with pet food and all that. If you're able to buy some pet food, dog food, cat food, or whatever pet food you can, if you want to bring it down to 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, that would be great as well. And if you're looking to volunteer at the Cambridge District Humane Society like I do twice a week, go on their website, cambridgehumanesociety.org, and click on the volunteer form there and get the process started. They do a lot of great work at the Cambridge District Humane Society. So again, if you have these needs, if you want to check out their website, cambridgehumanesociety.org, or their social media platforms, they're always looking for food and items down there. And if you're able to help out, that would be greatly appreciated as well. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show again is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. And one day I hope StreamYard will partner up with TikTok. You can also check out my website, beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. All my social media sites and my media work is on beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. Again, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Automall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles and Cadillac vehicles as well. And make sure you tell them Chris Palme sent you. I am back on TikTok, guys. I am back on TikTok at Chris Palme on my new page, at Chris Palme new page. Please check out my TikTok page and all my content, and make sure you follow me there as well. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. If you're into webinars or podcasting, check out StreamYard.com. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, the audio version is available on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, YouTube Music, and Good Pods. Please hit follow/subscribe or like to my audio version of this show as well. And finally, guys, you can email the show, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, at cpalme19@gmail.com. Any comments, questions, suggestions, feedback, positive or negative, would be greatly appreciated. And also, if you'd like to tip the host because you like this talk show and my media work, I'm on PayPal. You can reach me on PayPal and tip me there at cpalme19@gmail.com. And finally, guys, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, X, Threads, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere, and including my YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to my 591 subscribers. And for those who haven't subscribed, check out my YouTube channel. And I think you'll like my subscribe notification. And I want to say thank you to my guest tonight, Adam Levi. I've known him for 3 years now. He knows the National Lacrosse League as well as anybody. So Adam Levi is on social media if you'd like to follow him, and the podcast show as well. And that's about it for tonight, guys. Again, thank you to Adam Levi, and thank you to everyone for watching this live streamed or on my audio platforms. And before we wrap this show up, guys, we've got Pistons Knicks Game 5 tonight, 7:30 at Madison Square Garden. Will the Knicks and wrap it up in 5 tonight and advance to the second round? Or will the young and hungry Pistons, fourth at 6 game Thursday night at Little Caesars Arena? The Knicks stole Game 4 at Little Caesars Arena, 94-93 on a questionable missed call by the NBA officials on the Hardaway 3. So the Pistons tonight now have to win in New York to force a Game 6 at Little Caesars Arena, and that game should be underway in the first quarter right now. Pistons and Knicks, and the Tigers are in action tonight at 8 o'clock between them and the Houston Astros. Unfortunately, the Tigers last night, they scored enough runs to win the game, 5 runs, but Houston outscored them 8-5. And Jack Flaherty has kind of struggled this year. I think out of their starting rotation so far for the 18-11 Tigers, I think Jack Flaherty's been okay, but I don't think he's been as good as he was last year with Detroit or the Dodgers. So hopefully he gets that straightened up as well. And we got NHL playoffs going tonight, including Ottawa and Toronto. Can the Leafs finish Ottawa off in 5 games, or will Ottawa make the Leaf fans nervous for the 6th game in Ottawa? So that Leafs Ottawa game should be underway right now. So we've got lots of Stanley Cup, lots of NBA playoffs going on, and Major League Baseball going on as well. And also, too, guys, I want to say congratulations to Mark Carney, the 25th Prime Minister in the history of Canada. Congratulations to Mark Carney. And I want to say thank you to everyone who voted, whether it was for the PCs, the Conservatives, the Liberals, the NDP, the Bloc Quebec. Thank you for everyone voting. And if you don't vote, you don't have a right to complain in the country. So just want to say congratulations to Mark Carney on being the 25th Prime Minister of Canada, and thank you to everyone for going out and voting and exercising your right to vote here in Canada. And that is about it, guys. I'm looking forward to the return of the Small Talk podcast tomorrow night, Wednesday, April 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 on the West Coast, with Deborah Eckerling. She's an award-winning author and podcaster out in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, Nicole will not be joining us as she has a work commitment as well. And the next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show will be next week, and I will make an announcement this weekend on my shows for next week as well. So again, thank you to Adam Levy. Thank you to everyone for watching this show live streamed and on my audio platforms, and to my sponsor, Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph. I hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you back for the Small Talk podcast tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 on the West Coast, with Deborah.